Do you feel it in the air? A strange weight? As if the world is moving toward something no one can avoid. Wars are increasing, violence is spreading, and even nature seems to be crying out. In this atmosphere, a question rises deep in the soul. Could the return of Christ be closer than we imagine? Maybe you've heard this all your life, preachers announcing the end. People saying Jesus would come back soon. But now, the pieces seem to be fitting together in a terrifying way. Ancient prophecies sound more real and the signs are piling up right before your eyes. The Bible never treated this theme as a distant tale. Jesus himself said, "When you see all these things, know that it is near, right at the doors." Are you prepared for that moment? Or has routine, distraction, and the weight of life silenced the greatest warning in history? Think about the headlines you see every day. Nations in conflict, hunger rising, political crises shaking the world, diseases appearing out of nowhere. All of this was already written. Prophecy is not just a warning, it's a cry to awaken those still asleep. And here you must stop and reflect. If Christ returned today, right now, this very moment, where would your soul be? This is the question that cannot be delayed, because the clock of eternity does not stop. The return of Christ will not be like many imagine, a silent, almost invisible event. The word describes something glorious, impossible to ignore. Every eye will see him. That means there will be no doubts, no debates. It will be a day of total revelation. While some run to hide, others will lift their eyes with joy because they awaited that moment as the greatest promise of their lives. What will your reaction be? The Bible speaks of two groups on the day of judgment, those who will mourn and those who will sing victory. There will be no middle ground. That is the hard but necessary truth. And that is why the message of Christ's return is urgent. Look at the signs. The rise of spiritual deception, false leaders seducing crowds, faith being exchanged for personal interests. Do you see this happening around you? This too was foretold, even creation itself groans. Earthquakes, hurricanes, environmental disasters, each event echoing as a reminder that something greater is about to happen. It's as if the world can no longer bear the weight of sin. And in the middle of it all, you are called not just to watch, but to choose. To choose to live awake, with your heart anchored in Christ instead of being swept away by the current of illusion. Because the return of Jesus will not just be a historical act. It will be the end of an era and the beginning of eternity. And the eternity of your soul depends on the decision you make today. You may be asking, but what should I do to be prepared? The answer is not in complicated theories or date calculations. It is in a living relationship with Christ, in living as someone who expects at any moment to hear the sound of the trumpet. To prepare is to watch, to keep your lamp burning like the wise virgins in the parable. It is to live in holiness, not because it's easy, but because you know eternity is worth more than any fleeting pleasure. It is to forgive when your heart wants to hold a grudge, to love when the world preaches hate, to remain firm when everything seems to push you away from God, and in the rush of life it is to stop and hear his voice, still calling, "Come to me." Because it is in intimacy with Christ that hope is born, a hope that does not die, even when the world falls apart. In the end, the return of Jesus will not only be about what he will do, but about what you chose to do before that day. Did you live for yourself or for the one who promised to return? The call is clear: prepare now. Not tomorrow, not when things are calmer, not when you have time. The time is today, because when the sky is torn open and the trumpet sounds, there will be no more room for late choices. That will be the moment when eternity reveals the destiny of every soul. So let me ask you once more. If Christ returned right now, where would you be? Let this not be just another reflection you forget at the end of the video. Let it be the beginning of a real, deep, eternal decision. And if this message touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it now with someone who needs to wake up to this reality. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and stand firm. Because the return of Christ is closer than we imagine.